let's get this started. Let me just get my screen going.
Fixer, you started recording?
Yep, already recording.
You.
Hop on in, everybody.
During this, if you mouse over the raid voice channel, there's a chat option. You can open chat and put questions and stuff as people are talking in there.
Fantastic idea. Give everybody a couple minutes to join into the presentation. Many of you will be familiar with this wonderful visual.
Good memories.
I miss Kraus.
I put this presentation together on taxpayer dollars for a couple hours during my workday. So if it's a little haphazard, yeah, so they're worth even less.
Well, we appreciate your sacrifice.
If it's a little haphazard, that's to be expected, frankly. But first things first.
Transitions.
Yeah, no, we're not gonna use that background. It hurt my eyes back then, and it hurts my eyes now. A new presentation format. I'll be posting this slideshow into raid info after, and the link to the VOD will be included. Thank you, Fixer. So, Season 1 has come to a close. It's Season 2 time. We're aiming high. The Prog team is looking to get ahead of the curve by the end of the first month. We were almost there last season. It ended up taking a few extra weeks. But we also had a lot more trialing and a lot more shenanigans going on. So we can speed that up. And of course, we're here for cutting edge. This is a Mythic Prog team. We got 6 out of 8. We can do better. We're going to go 9 out of 9 this time. How are we going to do that? First month, getting ready, trials, gearing up. We're going to start clearing the normal raid. It's going to be 2 teams. We're going to be split off into 2 groups so that we can get as many people in as possible, do our trials, get some extra tier pieces. When we're done with that, we'll get into clearing through Heroic. Should be pretty quick progress, I hope. We'll be condensing down to 1 team with sort of the final selection of players. Not final. The selection of players after the normal trials. And we'll be, as needed, rotating trials in. If you did not slot in, but you want to join in the future, or if we just have more than 30 people, please stick around and watch the raid, see the strategies, hang out, cheer us on. And if somebody has to step out, you can also be swapped in. Never know. Another important aspect to gearing up, we want to gear up quick. Best way to get gear, running Mythic keys. Some of us love it, some of us hate it. It's required. It's important. It's going to drop gear that can get upgraded to raid levels. It's going to drop tokens that can upgrade your raid gear. I'll be incentivizing keys a little bit. There will be prizes. More on that later. After this first month of getting things set up, we're going to be fully in the swing of Heroic. We'll be getting our ahead of the curve, gearing up, and pushing into Mythic. We'll be trying to get into Mythic a little sooner this time to get the first boss, 2 bosses, maybe 3 bosses if we can. Get some loot, push for that vault slot. We might even jump in before we finish, what the hell is his name? Sarkareth? The final guy. To be determined. We will stop going into heroic when most of the gear stops mattering. If everybody's eye level is at the heroic level or higher, if we can start upgrading pieces beyond that point, we will just go straight mythic the whole way through from then on. If you want more chances at the rare drops that we didn't get during Prog, help Team 2 out. Team 2 will be running all season as well. You can also pug if you can't make Team 2 times. Oh yeah, as a final note, just because you're on Prog doesn't mean you get special privilege on Team 2 if you're helping out. Some people thought that at one point. Just thought I'd make it very clear. Still a chance for loot, but it's the same chance as everyone else. Just like in Season 1, when re-clearing Mythic becomes too much time spent doing the same thing, or involves bosses like Senarth, we will stop doing that, and we will be extending the lockout to Prog as far as we can. I figure that'll probably start happening around halfway through the raid, but we will see how it goes. There's some base expectations if you want to be on the Prog team. First and foremost, and I cannot stress this enough, turn on notifications for raid info. Go over, right-click the channel, go to notification settings, turn on @mentions if you have it set for nothing. If you have the whole server notifications muted, turn it on for just that channel. Similarly, turn on notifications for the attendance bot. The attendance bot will be mandatory. And I don't mean like mandatory-ish, I mean like mandatory. You're not raiding if you don't answer attendance. A little bit less aggressively, prepare for the fights. There will be info in that raid info channel. There will be guides posted. Go find kill videos, especially if you can find one that's from your class's perspective to see how other people do it. We'll be posting raid plan, infographics and stuff. Just keep an eye on that, and as we go into each fight, especially if you're joining for the first time, know what you're getting into. In-game, pay attention, please. If I have to say odds left, evens right more than 5 times before a pull, I will get cranky. I hope that's okay. I think an upper limit of 3 times is kind of I'm okay with, but I should only have to say it 1 time. If we're between pulls and trying to discuss a change of plans, we'll be needing everybody to listen to that change of plans as best we can. We'll try to make it clear that we're not just shooting the shit. Similarly, between polls and before polls, everybody will need to be participating in our little positioning exercises. They don't happen very often, but if I say everybody go stand on triangle, everybody goes on triangle, and then I call out, Nambers, you've got the debuff, run out of the group. Nambers runs out of the group. Drills like this is why we killed Kurog in like a week. We would not have progressed without perfecting that positioning. Same thing with Taros. When we got the positioning down, that became clean. So everybody's going to have to quickly and respectfully participate in these. While we're in the poll, shut up. Joking is great during the space between polls, or after a wipe is called, we can have some fun jumping off, doing flips. But we need to be able to hear each other. If you have something important to say, you can say it and go, I'm going to solo this, or I'm dead, somebody has to run the thing. But for the most part, we need clear comms. It's been pretty good for season 1, but there's been some times where we've needed to talk over people, and that's not great. As a side note to that, there's some new people who will be joining, and there's some old people who the new people haven't heard the voices of. Be clear who you are. If I'm targeted by something and I know I'm going to die, I can say, Ironbark Cinder. If I say, Ironbark me, not everybody actually knows who me is by voice alone. So just be clear about that if you need something. There's also a few things that I'm expecting everybody to be doing in preparation for the raid. Gearing up. We're going to have a minimum item level that goes up progressively as the season goes on. Mythic keys will be required. We have a way of tracking this. We will be tracking and checking this. You'll need to make sure you get at least something good in your vault every week. To enable this, our wonderful friend Try is hosting Mythic Mondays going forward. Prog Team members playing only on your mains, not on your alts. If you haven't got your 20 for the week done, you show up Monday, we guarantee we will try to make it happen. No pun intended, try. This is an event for Prog mains. You're not bringing your baby alts. We're not carrying anybody. This is for the team to work together to get the best gear possible. Even if you're not at the level where you can complete a 20, if you're not at the level where you can time a 20, we will be aiming to complete a 20 for every single person every week. If you can't make Monday nights, that's okay. Reach out. Say, hey, I need to do my 20 this week. Someone will probably help you over the weekend, weeknights, whenever. There's so many people running keys all the time. This will be a requirement for the Prog team to get gear. So talk to us, talk to your teammates.
Yeah, Try will also be chasing people down if they haven't gotten their key done by Sunday to make sure that they get it done on Monday. But don't wait for Try to yell at you. Like, let them know that you're going to be there. Or
the gear that you get from completing a 20 in your vault is eye level 441, is it? It's outlandishly good. It will be crucial for gearing up fast and progressing fast. Once you are fully geared out, we'll be relaxing that a little bit. But even toward the end of the season, a big Mythic Vault slot is probably still going to be helpful. Attendance spot is required. The deadline is 24 hours before the raid every single Prog night. You have to answer the attendance bot. If you're not sure, and you put, sorry, I'll get there. If you are late, if you do not make that deadline, you might lose your raid slot. We'll be calling for someone else to fill that slot. We'll be taking advantage of that 24-hour warning that you didn't give to replace you. So please answer the attendance bot. Hashtag attendance channel, turn on notifications. It'll ping you a couple days before each raid to answer it. If you're not 100% sure and you put tentative, we need to know, not necessarily why, we just need to know what's going on. You can post in the thread that Ellie always sets up under each attendance post. You can DM me, you can DM him. If it's private and you're not comfortable sharing, that's totally okay. But we need to know at least if you're going to know if you're going to attend. If you're saying, hey, I might not be able to make it, I've got some family stuff, I'll let you know by noon. We can work around that. That's okay. I just need communication from everybody. I need to be able to plan. If you're going to be late, tell me when you're going to be there. at least roughly. I'm stuck at work. I'm going to be late if I show up at all. That technically counts as me knowing whether you're going to show up. We can bring someone in to cover for you. Communicate, answer the attendance. Please, God, keep my sanity going while I try to plan every single night.
Yeah, the amount of stress that Cinder has had to deal with over the last couple months, just watching the attendance channel and hoping for question marks to turn into checks, or even for question marks to turn into X's so we can fill, is too much.
My soul has died when we were doing Taros and I had to do healing cooldowns 5 minutes before raid because I didn't know which healers were going to show up. I wanted to quit the team that I'm running. Please use the attendance bot.
Thankfully, he's not allowed to quit the team.
And I'll quit something else and you won't like it. Use the attendance bot. Here's the plan. I thought I reordered these slides, but it's fine. I mentioned there would be 2 teams. For the first couple weeks, we'll be breaking off into 2 teams. Clearing normal, we will be racing each other. There might be a prize, I haven't figured that out yet. The eye level requirement to join the raid week 1 will be 405. It's pretty reasonable. You will go in Tuesday, May 9th. You'll be divvied up into your teams. You'll clear the raid. Over the course of that week, you will be required to run 4 keys of at least plus 11 level. Get 2 vault slots of a decent eye level. We want to get geared, and we want to get geared fast. There's going to be tons of people playing at the start of the season. This should be effortless. Second week, the eye level requirement bumps up, 415. You'll be required to run 4 keys of at least 11 level, but you'll also need to run one of those keys at least 16. You'll want 1 big vault slot. By the 3rd week, we will most likely, this is all vaguely subject to change, but this is the plan as it is. By the 3rd week, we will be condensing down to 1 team and we will be mainlining Heroic for the rest of the month. The eye level requirement will go up to 425. That eye level requirement may keep increasing over the course of the season. Just try to keep up with everyone else for now until any further announcements are made. Also, by that 3rd week, everybody should start getting ready to do 20s for completion, and every week get at least 1 vault slot with the maximum possible loot in it. These are all minimums. If you exceed this, that's amazing. If you're going to go full ham, grinding out keys week 1 and get to 430 something at eye level, I salute you. I don't have time for that, but I can't wait for you to carry me because you do. The teams for our first couple weeks, clear? Drum roll, please. Team Fixer. Fixer and Autumn co-tanking together on one side. They weren't told about this. Team Cinder. This will be Eben and TP. If TP's in here, cool, you are. Surprise. These will be the 2 teams that we have going through normal for the first couple weeks. Fixer and Autumn will be raid leading his team, Cinder and Ellie on my team. If you want to participate in this, if you want to join the Prog team, this is sort of the trial. You need to submit an application in the apply channel. If you've already applied or you're already a member of the team, you don't have to do that, but you will have to tell us, confirm which character you're playing. I'll be putting out some results from the survey this weekend, speaking of what roles people said they wanted to do, what classes they want to do. If you said to me, Cinder, tell me what to play, I will try to give you an answer by the end of this weekend. All of that will be added to the attendance spot by next week. When we get there, all of the players who have answered the attendance spot will be divvied up into 2 teams, and we'll race. Sometimes things happen and things don't go perfectly. If you are causing problems during a fight, if you are messing up mechanics consistently, or if you are just being a problem player for the team, you may be asked to step out. You might be asked to step out just for that fight, and you can be invited back in for the next one. If you're being a real issue or there's something going on, you might be asked to step out for the night. We will communicate directly with you. We will give you a warning if something's up, saying, hey, can you deal with this? Or hey, you got to watch this thing. Hopefully, this won't come as a surprise. Just want to get this out of the way now. Being in the raid group at the start does not necessarily guarantee that you're on the Prog team all season. Doesn't even guarantee for the night. We need to do what we got to do to actually progress.
That includes players swapping roles or characters, right?
This includes everyone, frankly.
Okay.
Particularly new players and people swapping characters. If your performance is not to the level where we're making the checks we need to make, if you are dying to mechanics that are avoidable, you might be asked to sit just for a period of time. You might be asked to swap characters if necessary. We'll sort of see how that goes. Just wanted to give you a heads up in advance. This is how we're going to run the start of it. So I mentioned prizes earlier. I don't really like pushing keys, and I know a lot of people here are uncomfortable pushing keys. So there's some incentive to do some keys. Everybody on the Prog team is going to need gear. And so I figured if I make people really want to do keys, they'll get more gear. So there's going to be 2 competitions. First, who does the most keys? Obvious, it's a gimme. Whoever has completed the largest number of keys in the first month of the season wins a prize. This has to be on your main. This can't just be, I'm playing all my alts.
Is there a minimum key level required?
I have to
I'm
do
assuming
some
I
research.
can't run like 100 twos or something.
I have to do some research to find out if 2s are actually beneficial or not this time around.
I think it's just for the currency, which is capped at 2,000 or something.
I mean, even if you're doing 2s, you're still getting experience of doing keys. Like,
That's true.
I would allow it, frankly. If the currency you get from 2s is actually usable, I would allow it. If you need the currency from 11s to upgrade anything meaningful, there would be that minimum. I'll have to do some research on that.
You could also make it so that a 2 is, an 11 is worth 11 and a 2 is worth 2.
I could do that. That's worth considering.
Make it a point system.
Ooh, that's a lot harder for me to actually micromanage, but that's worth considering. The second competition is a little bit weirder. Bear with me. Greatest increase in keys completed. This will be judged based on how many more keys you do in Season 2 compared to what you did in Season 1. I think the first month of Season 1, I did like 15 keys. I kind of slacked. So if this season I go full ham and I fill my vault and I do 40 keys, that's 25 points. Whoever has the most points by the end of the first month will win that prize. This has some caveats. The time period will be the very first day of Season 2 through the end of the 4th week, June 5th, on maintenance. This only counts on your main character. If you are trialing on one character and you're asked to swap, we will be picking a fixed point in time for this purposes of competition to be like, okay, your main swapped at this date, keys count on this character before then and this character after then. If you play a different character in Season 1 than you're playing in Season 2, let me know the name for this competition so that I can actually track that accurately. And if you didn't play at all, I'm sorry, you are excluded. Only open to people who are playing the very first month of Dragonflight, December 13th to January whatevereth.
You can still win the most keys completed this season, though.
Yes, to be clear. If you, this is only a stipulation for the second one. If I have no data to compare against, or you did 0 keys at the start of season 1, it's kind of cheating. So what are the prizes? The winner of each competition can choose from your choice of 1 shop mount or pet. Anything goes if it's in the BNet shop currently. Or 1 WoW token. Or 200,000 gold.
Man, I was really hoping for
Gumber,
that
can you hit
Applebee's
the
gift card.
yay sound?
What do we do if there's a tie?
There you go.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you.
So there's
TP?
also
Sorry, Pika, I talked over you. What was that?
I made a joke. I was like, damn, I was really hoping for an Applebee's gift card or something.
I will, if you really want, I will substitute this in-game reward for an out-of-game reward of equivalent value.
Fair enough.
But not everybody lives near an Applebee's.
Truth.
TP,
Yes.
you had a question.
Yeah. What do we do if there's a tie?
Double prize.
Rochambeau.
Just split it, or that'd be interesting if we have, because we're talking about doing like whoever does the most keys. What if you get a group of people all doing keys together, and it's just
Um,
And Cinder spends $80.
There will be some logarithmic increase to the value of the prize that I have yet to determine. It won't be 1 prize for everybody. It won't be 1 prize split between everybody. I'll figure that out. If 2 people tie, you get 2 prizes. If 5 people as a team tie, I'll probably come up with something else because that's a lot of money.
will there be a leaderboard that gets posted somewhere?
Yeah.
There's a handy dandy spreadsheet that you can look at.
On wowaudit.com. Yeah. So, fun prizes. If you aren't a key person, here's some incentive. If you aren't a key person, you're more likely to win the second competition because you weren't a key person before, but we're going to make you a key person now. And to be clear, all of you are key in my heart.
Even me.
All right. So there's that one awkward week where it's after season 1 and before season 2. What are we going to do? We're doing 1 final clear of Mythic Vault of the Incarnates. It'll be a re-clear every boss that we've done up to this point. You will be bringing the character that you want to play next season. Minimum eye level will be 405 still. If you want to join in on this, make sure you have an application submitted. Make sure you answer the attendance spot that will be posted at some point this weekend. I can't remember the exact day. And if you've never done the Mythic Raid before, make sure that you know what you're getting into. Watch some guides. I recommend Stanky Gaming because they're short and sweet. Read Mythic Trap to see the summarized list of what's new in Mythic. This will be open to everybody who wants to play in Season 2, and we'll be picking the roster based on the attendance spot. Speaking of rostering, sometimes we don't have enough people. And sometimes somebody really wants to join us, but they can't make our times. So we're going to formally add a new role to the server, the reinforcements. If you want to support the team, if you want to do Mythic Raiding, but you're not home from work until 6, or you can only make some days, but not every time, you have an inconsistent schedule, this is the role that we're going to slap on you. Because if we need to fill, we're going to type @reinforcements looking for a DPS. And of the people who are in that tag, you can join in for a fight. You can join in for half a night. You can join in for the whole night, depending on what we need. This will help me sort out the gaps in the attendance. And the people who have the reinforcements role, if somebody doesn't answer the attendance bot, you probably get their slot. Hint, hint. Do the attendance bot. There's a few requirements for this. Have to have applied. Have to have a reasonable eye level within a few eye levels of the current Prog Team members. You gotta already know the fights, at least to some extent. Do your research. And for the love of God, let us actually ping you. You're not gonna get into many fights if we can't get a hold of you. I'm almost done ranting to myself, but I have a few things I want to say. Last season was awesome. That was the furthest Horizon's ever gotten in a Mythic raid. That was the hardest bosses y'all have ever killed. We played better. We played together better. Everything came together for that sweet Dathia kill right at the end. And that was a clean kill. A lot of our first kills of these bosses have been super clean because the coordination is off the charts. So I just want to say to every single person who helped, to everybody who came the whole season, to the people who covered for one night, the latecomers, the early people, the people who came and left and did other things, even you, Renyo, you fucking traitor. People who put potions and herbs in the guild bank, the people who reacted with cheers to Fixer's VODs of our first kills. Thanks, guys. You're the reason I'm doing this.
Thank you, Cinder.
Yeah, can we get a good thank you for Cinder too?
Thank you, Cinder.
Round of applause.
Yeah, thank you.
It's all thank you. Yeah, probably not after what I said. Nevertheless,
Daddy, chill.
you guys are rock, and we're going to take this momentum from season 1 and we're going to push harder, faster, further, better, and stronger.
Longer?
Possibly even longer into the next season. That's all I have to say. Does anybody have anything they want to say? Any questions, any comments, any ideas?
Yay, reinforcements.
Go team.
Yeah, there were a couple of questions in the chat about reinforcements. Dyson, there will probably not be a list of reinforcement needs. It's just if you are somebody who plays at a Mythic raid level but can't commit to a Mythic raid schedule, or for whatever reason, then whatever character is your favorite or whatever, then and is cured and ready to go will be the one that you can sub in on.
Awesome.
Similarly, Taco's asked if there's mercenaries from other guilds. There will be mercenaries from other guilds potentially a bit later on into the season if needed. That's kind of still in the works. But anybody who applies, I guess, to the Horizon team it's more of a community raid than a guild raid. I mean, we've got people from all over, all different guilds and different servers and stuff. So the guild tag is not the most important bit of that.
Picking out random comments. Do mythic requirements apply to reinforcements? No, that would be kind of unreasonable, but what you do need to do is stay at least as geared as the rest of the Prog team if you want to be considered.
Yeah, I think it was within 5 eye level of the average for the Prog team. And you should be able to see the Prog team's average on that spreadsheet.
I mean, if you can meet the same goals, push it, do it.
Yeah, like if you want to go ham and support the team, you are so welcome and encouraged to.
Yeah, so for example, right now the team's average is 416. Actually might be a little higher because we've got some randoms on there, but so say if you were reinforcing this week, it would be expected that you're bringing a character that's at least 412.
Only one other question I see. Oh, okay, there is another one. No, Autumn, you're not disqualified, but you can opt out if you choose. But, I mean, you're welcome to take prizes. You are at least currently on the Prog team, and so your gear matters too. The only other question I see from Eben: are you actually joining Horizon now, Cindy? Yes.
Yes, finally.
Hey,
Sadly, Legion of the Fallen is dissolving, and so as of season 2, I will be officially on Horizon. I
And
can
officially
now.
an officer.
I will now stop asking other people to get me things from your guild bank.
Question: do I need to go ahead and do apply now? Still, since I'm not going to be trying to get a dedicated spot.
Yeah, anybody who wants to be considered for the reinforcements, or just like thinks that you might be able to make the raid but you're not sure, all you encouraged to apply. We'll chat with you directly. We can look at your logs if you apply a bit more easily and sort of see the list of players. It's a pretty quick form, so it's worth throwing in there. If you have issues with applying, reach out to me or Ellie. It could be that you have an existing application already sitting there, or it could be some glitch in the system. We'll work it out.
Cinder, I gotta step away for a second. I'll be right back.
Cool. Let's not have any more questions until TP's back now. That was sarcasm.
Yeah, fuck TP. Rennie's asking, guilds being cross-faction, is there a limit or anything to people being one faction or the other, or just transfer if you want?
Nope, I don't give a hot damn. You just have to be on the server cluster for Mythic if we start doing Mythic before the Hall of Fame closes. There's a couple people I'm going to have to reach out on that specific regard. Even if you're off server, you are welcome in the Heroic team, and you will be welcome back in the Mythic team once that's available, but preferably we have the whole team on the cluster and in the guild.
Yeah, and more info on the cross-faction guild stuff will be coming later this week. But suffice it to say, like, if you want to play an alliance character, that's fine. And then you just have to go through some steps to rejoin the Horde guild.
Oh, I have another question.
Yep.
Item priority. If, say, we are on reinforcements, are we still at equal level, or is it going to go to dedicated prog instead?
Dedicated prog.
Yeah.
I figured.
The people who are there for almost every fight will get priority over the backups, but a lot of the time there will still be things where Prog Team doesn't need it. Go for it. Relating to loot, I probably should have put this in the expectations, but that WoW audit wish list, really, really useful early in the season for figuring out who needs all these rare drops, because there's so damn many of them now. So if you are on the team, we'll be encouraging you to do that. And Ellie will go through the raid info and repin the message that tells you how to use the wish list. Thanks, Ellie.
You're welcome.
I love volunteering people to do stuff. Voluntelling people. I was going to say voluntold, but the present tense is weird. Is there anything else to touch on?
Just last, well, I don't know if it's the last thing, but somebody had asked about applying even if they're going to try to fill a reinforcements role, especially if you want to try, I mean, obviously it's pending how much space available we have next week for that Mythic or clear, but if you want to try to get your new main or current main or whatever in that run, make sure you apply like today so that we can see who will be, or first of all, so we can get you added to the attendance bot and then form the group from there.
Good point. Thank you. Teams for the first clear of Aberrus are going to be decided on that day based on the attendance spot for that raid. With any luck, we'll be able to maintain the same teams per week if we have relatively consistent attendance. so that you guys can have a real race?
Yeah, you don't need to do the survey if you've already done it, unless something has changed on your end. But in that case, just DM Cinder with those changes.
Yeah.
And then, did you just talk about how teams are being decided for the normal clear?
I sure did, and I appreciate that you're attentive.
Hell yeah.
Questions regarding not sure what I'm playing next season yet. I'm gonna be going through that tonight and tomorrow if I need to, and basically reaching out to every single person who answered the survey with a I'm not sure what I'm going to play. Here are my things I'm interested in playing, and I will say, here's what I'd like you to play, or I don't really care, play what you want, depending on what you said. I'll be aiming to get everybody at least trialing on their preferred character and role, though. So if you said you really want to heal, most likely you will get to trial on heals if that's what you want. But be aware, come Mythic, 4, maybe 5 healers every night. Competition is fierce.
Yeah, and that said, so last season you mentioned the trialing kind of slowing things down quite a bit. And I know we had a lot of trials kind of drag on through a lot of that early season. Is there going to be kind of a hard cutoff for this initial batch of trials, or I guess if somebody applies today, about how long do you think it might take, assuming?
With any luck, we should be able to get everybody who is interested and willing and committing to the Mythic raid involved in not week 0, because Mythic only has 20 slots, but if we have a huge number of people, we can make 2 pretty sizable teams for week 1 and 2, and theoretically we can get everybody in a trial. Just because you apply does not mean you're guaranteed a trial. If you have a historically lower performance, we'll talk to you about working on that ahead of time before we bring you in. If you aren't at the gear level we're requiring any given week, you'll need to bump that up before you get in. Very rarely is there a fully shut door saying, no, you are not on the Prog team and you will never be on the Prog team. You'd have to be a real piece of work for me to say that. If you improve your eye level, your performance, your mechanics, there's always another chance to trial.
So for these trials, that's where pushing N+ early when you can is going to really help that performance, because I imagine Cinder will be reviewing and I will be reviewing, and a lot of people will be looking at the logs from those normal clears. So knowing the fights before you get there will reflect in your performance like substantially, and any effort you put into gearing and knowing your new class. Pika, did you say something? I thought I saw you queue up.
No, I think it was when I muted.
Ah.
I did have an idea though for like the mythic counters for the competition. If we do like points based on like the level of um mythic key that you do, I would suggest that like everybody is, if you want to be part of the competition, everybody keeps track of their own point score and manages it, and like gives a weekly update as to how many dungeons they've run. And it's obviously based off like an honor system where if you're fucking lying, then you're out of the competition. But that's just my idea.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable if we do a complex one where it's hard for me to track. It'll be pretty easy to tell, like, if you say you have X number of points, before I give you the prize, I will go on Raider.io and verify it.
Right.
So it should be pretty easy to deal with that. Might do a system where it's because there will be some people who are just key key gamers and they do lots and lots of keys, and they'll be right into doing lots and lots of 20s. And there'll be people who want to gear up as best they can, but they're not just at the level where they're ready to do 20s yet, but they want to grind out 16s so that they can get their mythic pieces all the same. It'll just take them a little longer. Both of those playstyles are valid, and so I don't want to give one of them like way more points than the other. I'll be working out the details and making a formal post in raid info when it's time to do that. It doesn't really matter, and I hope people aren't going crazy planning their whole month around the key competition for $20. So don't worry about it too much right now.
Yeah, only really need to worry about the competition once we hit June, kind of. For the first few weeks, you should be focused on doing whatever you can that will improve your item level and your gearing overall.
So what you're saying is I should sack it.
I don't know what that means.
Underperform to look like you're doing good later.
No.
No, competition will begin the very first day of Season 2, and it will close exactly 4 weeks into Season 2. So to be clear, the second competition is comparing based on how many you did in Season 1. There's no sacking or inting Season 2 to make yourself look good. You're going out the gate strong because we want that gear. Applications are flowing in already. Go team.
If you're trying to apply and you've previously applied and it's not letting you, DM me. So Cinder, for people that are applying now, do you want them to fill out the survey if they haven't yet?
It wouldn't hurt. It'll help. Actually, yeah. It'll give me a better idea of your availability, especially if you're not available for the main raid times of Tuesday, Friday, 5-day Pacific.
Mhm.
And if you are sort of hedged between a couple of classes that you might want to play, please fill out that survey. It's in the raid info channel. It says closed, but it's not actually closed. You can keep submitting to it. It'll just... The people who submitted answers to that survey by the deadline will have some priority in trial slots if we run a little dry, specifically for that week 0. Yeah, that survey is not a requirement, just to be clear, to be on the Prog team. The application in the #apply channel is the requirement.
To Corey's point, so we do have a lot of outstanding applications right now. The last couple months have been pretty hectic on the planning side and getting through those applications. So if you haven't had a response, an official response to that just yet, assume that we've received your application and we are planning on seeing how the trials go through in normal through those first couple weeks. And that's for folks that have applied but haven't had a chance to get into raid yet. So the people that have been raiding with us and still have open applications, I will be closing a lot of those shortly.
Yeah. Your applications from the last 2 weeks have been basically put on the shelf for Season 2 as we brought Season 1 to a close. We just wanted to finish what we had with what we had as best we can. I apologize for the lack of communication on that. Mostly on me there. You will be contacted going into Season 2 just to confirm anything we need to know. And you will be put on the roster bot if you have applied going into week 0, which is the roster bot should be posted in the next 2 days, I think.
Yep. And then just quick announcement for some of those open applications. Fay Cat, Chew Cat, Big Eddie, Pika, Alina, and Diablo Sorry for the no communication, like we said, but y'all have been killing it. So going to promote all of those characters here and accept those.
Welcome to Prague.
Welcome to the team you've been on for 2 months.
Thanks.
It was awkward and informal for a while. Sorting out the formal application process and locking in the roster has been very finicky, as we've been sort of like spending all of our time trying to actually find 20 players.
Yeah, that's something that I'm really looking to revamp pretty heavily this next season. So it should responses and feedback and action items and all that sort of stuff is going to hopefully go a lot smoother this season.
Addressing questions in the chat. Just to reiterate, if you previously applied for season 1, that application stands. You are in the consideration or already on the team. People who are currently on the team may, and this is not to be intimidating or scary, but you may end up at a lower priority on the team if other players outperform you over the course of trials. Again, there's only 20 slots for a Mythic team, and so cuts have to be made every single fight. If you get sat for a fight, you're not off the team. You're just being sat for that fight, or that night, or that fright. I'm going to leave that question for Gumber, any. Yeah.
Several people are typing.
Oh, I haven't seen that in a while.
Kolsky, you're also your trial sim as Pango is going to extend into season 2. So you're good.
I guess I can say if you are no longer interested in being on the Mythic team, please reach out so that we're aware of that. It's a lot easier for you to just tell us than to hit absent or not hit anything on the attendance for several months straight. And we can bump you down to reinforcements if you want to help out as needed but don't really want to dedicate the time, or we can just say, thanks for coming, appreciate your help, and remove you from the team so that it's not sort of confusing us in the stats.
How do I get Pat back?
Great question.
Texas girlfriend.
We will have to submit a petition to Pat's girlfriend for him to join the team, last I heard.
I guess I'm his only real world contact, so I guess I have to go find him now.
All right. I don't see typing. I don't hear questions, and I think I've checked every source of my notifications recently. So I think that about wraps this up. At any point, if you have questions, comments, or concerns, you can DM me, and I will do my best to respond to you within 3 business days. I'm not going to promise that, but I will try to get back to you as quick as I can reasonably do so.
If you did not hear from Cinder within 3 business days, DM me.
Yes, he's actually responsive. Elemist is a responsible GM.
Rennie, your app's reset. It sounds like Cinder, you're wrapping up. If that's true, and you have questions about applications or need need stuff done so that you can apply and make sure all your connections are good, stay on. And we can work through that stuff.
I do have one thing I want to point out, and that is to remind everybody that this has been a main team meeting, a team 1 meeting, a Prog team meeting. If you have questions about team 2, please send those to Fixer or Autumn.
Yes, that is a very good point. Just to be clear, all of the information discussed tonight was to do with the Prog team. This is the team that will be going into Mythic, pushing cutting edge, managed raid led by me. If you want to be a part of that team, if you're committed to Mythic raiding, the performance and the requirements for that, this was for you. If you missed some or all of this meeting, the stream VOD will be available shortly, courtesy of Fixer, and this slideshow will be posted in raid info as well. So you can watch back, check out anything you missed, etc., etc., etc.
Oh crap! I forgot to hit record. I'm just kidding.
I'm going to assume that's a joke.
I'm joking.
Wouldn't be a big deal because my spreadsheet is so clear and intuitive. Slideshow. God, that's a Muffrey's Law right there.
It kind of worries me
can't-
how
I can't-
silent that got. Like people actually believed it.
I can't understand the spreadsheet.
Yeah,
That's
I can't
fine.
understand the spreadsheet either.
That's because your name is Dyson.
Dyson. All right, well, I'm going to stop streaming this wonderful collage of our accomplishments from Season 1. The meeting wraps up here. Thanks you to everybody who attended. Thank you to the people who participated in Season 1. Again, couldn't have done everything we did on screen here without you. This was a legendary season, and let's make it even crazier for Season 2. You are dismissed, but if you have further questions, we'll be staying on the line to chat. Have a good night, folks.
Thanks, Fixer. Or Cinder.
Thanks, Cinder.
Thanks, Cinder.
Thanks, Cinder.
Thanks a lot, man.
Love you all. Even you with the soundboard.
Even me.
Do you want me to end the recording there or keep it rolling for a minute?
Probably just end it there.